This is the My Writing Diary podcast. I'm Bill Wong. Today I'll recap last week's episode and then talk about Chapter 1. I'll break that into 3 parts, the excerpt, themes, and some editorial notes. Last week I talked about the prologue, which introduced Rivka's father and her mother. Shifra is pregnant with Rivka, and this chapter was intended to grab your attention. It's action-orientated. I blew up a hospital, I killed 3 Hamas terrorists, and I wanted to show that Israel is analytical and a negotiator, yet he has some emotion. When his family is put at risk, he wants retribution. And his retribution came in the form of assassinating 3 Hamas terrorists. Chapter 1, which is called A Day in a Teacher's Life. It takes place on December 31st, 1999, a day before the war starts. It happens at the Israel Arts Middle School, which is an elite middle school in the northern part of Israel. The characters I introduce are Rivka, who's the protagonist, Dr. Reisner, which is one of the villains, and Rivka's best friend, Noah. Rivka means binding or linked. Reisner, I gave her that name because even though she has the name that's reasonable, she is totally not reasonable. She represents bureaucracy and the system of which a lot of us are trying to fight. Noah is all-knowing. She is not only an ally, but a mentor to Rivka. When I wrote Rivka, I envisioned Audrey Hepburn from the movie Roman Holiday. In this chapter, Rivka made many choices. The first choice she made is when she received her messages from the front desk at the school, she ordered them in the priority of work to personal. When she was admonished by her principal, she totally disregarded those instructions and did what she wanted. I wanted to create a character who is willing to do what she believes is correct. And at the end of this chapter, she refused a quest. I'm a big fan of the hero's journey. Noah says, you should be like this. However, at the end, she said, yeah, whatever. She didn't listen, but she will over the course of the novel. The purpose of this chapter is to introduce the characters and to have conflict. The principal, who I describe as a Catholic nun with a bat, is one of the villains. As I mentioned before, she represents bureaucracy and institutions trying to beat down individuals' self-will. It created a lot of conflict. Now I'll read you a couple of excerpts from A Day in a Teacher's Life. First, Rivka's pixie-like heart-shaped face was accentuated by her somber doe eyes and framed by her auburn-colored hair. As if a wizard had placed a curse upon her, onlookers were drawn to her enchanted eyes, yet forced to avert their gaze. Here's another excerpt, and this is from the Israeli Constitution. The state of Israel will promote the development of the country for the benefit of all its inhabitants, will be based upon the precepts of liberty, justice, and peace taught by the Hebrew prophets, will uphold the full social and political equity of all its citizens without distinction of race, creed, or sex, will guarantee full freedom of conscience, worship, education, and culture, and will safeguard the sanctity of the shrines and holy places of all religions, and will dedicate itself to the principles of the Charter of the United Nations. The themes of this chapter are the battle between institutions and the individual. I wanted to outline the hypocrisy of what is happening in Israel today. They are not safeguarding the sanctity of holy places for all religions. And it is not fair for the peoples of Israel, and how one individual can fight the system. Finally, this is an interesting editor's note. When I initially wrote this first chapter, I had included a dream sequence, which my editor hated. He wanted me to delete it. I put it later in the book. In addition, he mentioned the main character, Rivka, went away for a few chapters. I moved this chapter forward to introduce the character sooner. This is the My Writing Diary podcast. I'm Bill Wong. I'll see you on the pages.